Hello, and welcome to your New Moon Pisces Workbook journey. So I thought it'd be really cool to change up the name just because Workbook Walkthrough, I don't think gives this journey that we're taking every new moon, every full moon enough credit. I think we are taking a bit of a journey and we're not just walking through. And I love that you guys in the membership have taken this information and basically made it your own. I did want to thank you so very much for being so gracious and so understanding. And thank you so much for your condolences and reaching out to me. I really appreciate it. So we are back. This new moon is in Pisces. It is a pre-eclipse activation. That means it's going to be illuminating your internal landscape and intensifying your emotions. This is a portal to the surreal where your dreams, illusions, and destinies blur. You might even be having a lot of deja vu. I had some this morning in the kitchen with the dogs. Now I have two dogs. So anyways, I had a little bit of deja vu with both of the dogs. This opening of this eclipse portal is a time for heightened transformation, shifts, and mystical breakthroughs. So this is soul healing kind of energy. You're being asked to listen to your inner wisdom, connect with the spiritual, dreamy, and enchanting aspects of your being. It's time to look at endings with a compassionate heart, and I would say even look at beginnings with a compassionate heart because we are in a new moon. Right? And time to heal on a soul level. You're being invited to shift your focus and direct your energy towards your dreams and realizations. That way you can alchemize them and you can transmute past experiences. I should add in here, integrate past experiences. I think alchemizing and integration and transmutation all have this like beautiful quality and this beautiful power where we take what has been given to us. We take the choices that we've made. We take the decisions that life has made for us, right? And we internalize them, and not in a bad way. Like maybe internalizing isn't probably the best word, but that's the best word that I can feel into right now, because we take those things and we find an acceptance. And when we find that acceptance, we can truly alchemize and transmute and integrate these past experiences and embrace them as the interconnectedness of all, the interdependence of all things. So we are not just ourselves, even though we are, but we are part of this larger network, and this interconnectedness of things is really going to play out over this next cycle of this new moon. And so this new moon in Pisces offers opportunities and invitations, as always, for manifestation and creation, intuition and clarity, healing and transformation, divine connection and love. So the invitation and opportunity is there. Every full moon, every new moon, every eclipse, like we always have the invitation there. We actually have it every day, but I feel like it's just so much stronger, right? When we have these reminders of the flow of the planets surrounding us, the flow of the moon, the flow of how close or how far that moon is to us, because again, it's the interconnectedness of all things, right? And if we can really dive into what this new moon is asking us to do, it's asking us, like every new moon asks us for manifestations. Like, what are you manifesting this new moon? And because new moons are about new beginnings, it's the creation happens within that darkness, right? We have the darkness of the new moon where you can't really see it. And that's because it's through the stagnancy and through the darkness that we can actually fully be reborn, right? And so this is a really great time to focus your energy on what's truly important for you to manifest your dreams and your realizations, right? It's not just about what you're dreaming about, it's what you're realizing is actually possible. So sometimes we can be so stuck in our dreams that we don't focus on the logical aspect of it, right? So maybe we're dreaming to have, like this amazing business, but we want it tomorrow. that's possible, but is it really realistic? So how can we combine these dreams and our realizations, realizing and acceptance? I should have put in there. This is a really great time to create flow in your life. Where are you pushing upstream? Where can you kind of let go and go downstream, right? This is time to turn your feelings into actualization. So if you're feeling like you really want to do something, I mean, if anything, life has taught me in the last 3 years, it's way too fucking short to not go all in on your dreams, to not go all in on those things that you're feeling, right? Whatever you set into motion now will grow 6 months from today or from now. So every full moon offers the opportunity for a closing or an ending of something in the 6 months before. So whatever planet or whatever zodiac sign we were in. So this we'll have a full moon in Pisces in about 6 months from now. And so setting into motion whatever is in your Pisces chart now to grow 6 months from now. So what can you start preparing now, right? What do you want to see in your life 6 months from now? And if you can tie it to what's in your Pisces birth natal chart for you, right? And what do you want to see grow in that area of your life? This is a really good time for stabilizing synergy and bringing structure to your intuitive dreams, visions, and manifestations. This is a time for creating abundance, not just for yourself, but for all humanity. So abundance can be so many things. It can be money, right? It can also be an abundance of time, an abundance of joy, an abundance of sharing information, an abundance of sharing yourself, right? How can you do that for all, right? Intuition and clarity. This is a really good time to connect with the spiritual, dreamy, magical aspects of yourself. This is a really great time for developing clear thinking and integrating logic with intuition. So again, it's like the realization versus the dream, right? This is logic, analytics versus what your gut is telling you, right? How can you integrate those together, right? How can we find the interconnectedness of those things? Growing within to receive, or going within and growing within to receive clear answers and guidance. So you can grow within, right? You can grow within yourself, but you can also go within yourself to find clear answers and guidance. So really great time for a lot of meditation or maybe some nature walks. I don't know where you're at in the world, but if you're somewhere where maybe the sun comes out one day or maybe it's like really cold and rainy, but you still want to take a walk, see if you can get into that nature walk so that you can connect with yourself, grow within yourself to receive these answers and guidance. And also working with your imagination. This is a really great time for healing on a soul level, healing and transformation, alchemizing and transmuting and integrating past traumas, right? Encouraging forgiveness and seeing relationships through the eyes of the soul. So I have this thing with forgiveness, and I heard it one time and I was like, oh, this makes so much sense. And so every time I say forgiveness, I always think about this thing. And the thing that I heard was, do you really have to forgive that person? And I was just so conditioned to say, yeah, you have to forgive everybody. But sometimes it hurts to forgive, and sometimes we're not at that place to forgive. And I know, that this is maybe counterintuitive to everything that we've been taught, but sometimes forgiveness is not the right way. Maybe it's forsaking, or forgetting. But how can you see relationships through the eyes of your soul? How can you see maybe any situation through the eyes of your soul, right? This is a really great time to kind of dive into that. This is also a really good time to invite peace, love, and harmony into your life. This is a time for working with integrity for all of humanity, for working with integrity for self, right? This is also a perfect time for divine connection and love, falling in love with the divine forces within, with that light inside of you, that light that illuminates your path, right? How can you fall back in love with that divine force within? Experiencing joyful and infectious energy and using it for positive change, inviting the divinity into your life, inviting your divinity into your life. Like, how can you check in with that divine force within to ask that divine force, what is my next best step right now, right? experiencing the feelings of oneness. Again, with this Pisces new moon, this is definitely the time for that, right? This new moon, how will it specifically affect you? It depends on where this lands in your chart, right? So Pisces is house 12, I believe. It's a dreaming house. It's a house of spirituality, right? It is the house of, solitude. So if you think about it, the hermit, right? It is the house of transcendence, but it can also be the house of self-sabotage and institutions, right? So how we sabotage ourselves. So don't be surprised if those little things come up for you. Where this lands in your chart depends on what your birth natal sign is, right? We can look at this if we take the Pisces. We can look at from our rising sign, which is how we act, the things that we do, our behavior, our style, our outward personality, right? We can count from there. And maybe Pisces lands in a different area of your chart. Maybe it lands in your daily life. Well, how can you bring some spirituality? Let's say it lands in your 6th house. How can you bring some spirituality into your work, into your health, into your service, into your self-improvement, into your daily activities, right? Let's say Pisces lands in your 1st house. How can you bring this Pisces energy, this dreamy quality, the spiritual quality into how you act, your outward personality and your appearance, right? If it lands in your 2nd house, your house of money, right? How can you bring this spirituality into your money, your possessions, your values, your skills, right? So just depends on where this lands in your chart. If you want to use just the typical Pisces, where Pisces lands, that's going to be in the 12th house, right? If you want to take it according to your sun sign, this is going to be your motivation. So your motivation behind your spiritual work, your motivation behind your spiritual self-improvement, or your motivation behind your spiritual appearance or your spiritual outward personality or awareness of self. Or again, your motivation in the 2nd house behind what you have, your money, your possessions, right? And how you feel about that, your emotions, right? And so each one of us will have our own area where Pisces lands in our chart. So take a look at that and see how that looks to you. And as usual, we do have 3 spreads for you to choose from. So we have the Divine Heart Connection spread. I really like this spread. So this one has 4 cards. The cards are, what aspect of my divine self needs attention? Ooh, that's a good one. Card number 2, or question number 2, is how can I best access and express my joyful energy for positive change? The 3rd question in this tarot spread is, what practices will help me invite divinity into my life? So the 4th card in the spread is, where in my life can I see the reflection of oneness? So then we go into our 2nd spread, which is a transformation and integrity spread. So this is 5 cards. What needs to be released in order to make space for transformation? Where do I need to offer forgiveness to myself, or others, to invite peace and harmony? So the 3rd card is, what past experiences are ready to be alchemized and transmuted? So then the 4th question is, how can I embrace the alchemy? Ooh, I love that one. And then the 5th question, or 5th card, is, what is the guidance from source regarding this transformation? So our next spread is the New Moon Clarity and Vision spread. In this spread, we're asking 3 questions. How can I better integrate logic and intuition in my decision making? What guidance am I receiving from my soul about my current path? And what new beginnings await me as I lean into the guidance of this energy? Oh, I like that one. I think I'm going to do that one. And I think I'm going to also do the first one, the Divine Heart Connection spread. So I think I'm going to actually start with the New Moon Clarity and Vision spread. With this one, I'm going to use the Light Seers Tarot deck. I have it here. Okay, so if you need to, you can take a moment and pause and just get yourself ready for this reading and just asking for guidance for anyone who's listening. What do they need to hear? What do they need to feel? Their heart is good. All right. So how can you better integrate logic and intuition into your decision making? Okay, we got the 4 of Pentacles. I love that. So this is a beautiful card where she's kind of holding her purse close, right? And there are 4 pentacles on her purse, and she's holding it pretty close. She's got one hand looks like closer to her heart or abdomen, like maybe her sacral chakra, solar plexus and heart chakra, but then she's got one lower in the abdomen, maybe like her root chakra. So root chakra is all about like our biological needs, so our money, our safety, our security, our I am, right? And then the I am safe, right? And then we have the solar plexus chakra, which is all about our ego, our core. But then we also have our heart chakra, which is all about harmony, right? And so I love that that is the card that we pulled for that question. How can I better integrate logic and intuition in my decision making? One of the first things I heard when I saw this is hold your cards close to you. Sometimes we have to hold on to our ideas before we let them out into the world, right? Sometimes we have to hold on to our intuition before we actually make a decision. Sometimes, that's that marrying the reality with your dreams, right? So that's the first thing I heard was like, hold your cards close to your heart, and maybe hold on a little bit, but not so much that you squeeze the life out of it, right? We can hold it close, but sometimes we have to give that out. So when is knowing discretion, basically discretion is the other word I'm hearing, like maybe using discretion to help you integrate logic and intuition in your decision making, right? Card number 2, what guidance are you receiving from your soul about your current path? And I've been shuffling these. And so we got the Queen of Swords. I love this because we're asking about clarity and vision. And we have the Queen of Swords. She's the epitome of clarity and vision, right? She's just like, I see everything. I cut through the BS. I'm not going to put up with BS, and I'm just going to go forward, right? So I love that. So the guidance that you're receiving is to lean into that logical, analytical part of you, right? To allow yourself to really see the truth in all things, truth from yourself, but also demanding the truth from others, and not in a cold way. Although the Queen of Swords can be cold and calculating, that's not what we're looking for here. We're looking for a softer part of the Queen of Swords. We're looking for a more stable and secure person who is going to be able to tell you the truth, but also very logical about why she's telling you the truth, right? And what new beginnings await you as you lean into the guidance of this energy? Let's see. What new beginnings await you as you lean into the guidance of this energy? Here. Okay. So, we have the Knight of Cups. So falling in love with the idea of love, falling in love with the idea of self, and using your creativity to help guide you forward as well. So when we look at these cards, it's so funny because we're looking at like complete opposites of each other. And it's so funny because it's like the 4 of Pentacles, she's holding on. She's like, I don't want to give my stuff to anybody. I'm not ready yet, right? To give out the things that I need. And so she's a little less confident. She's got her eyes closed and her head turned to the side, right? Then we have the Queen of Swords, eyes open, looking out in front of her, very confident, got her sword in her hand. She's ready to go to battle if she needs to, but she knows she can hold that sword close to her, right? She's super confident. And then we have the Knight of Cups looking directly at us with roses in his hands. He's got a picnic thing there. He's on the white horses behind him. He's like, I'm here to save the day, basically. And the Queen of Swords like, I don't need you to save the day. I'm going to cut through the bullshit. And then the 4 of Pentacles is like, I'm not sure yet. I'm going to hold on to this thing. So in the middle, we have our confidence. In the middle, that's the guidance that you're receiving from your soul. It's like you're confident. You can move forward. Even if you don't know the way forward, you can move forward. But this 3rd card is asking you to lean into a little bit of the dreams, right? And this is kind of like the whole energy of the Pisces new moon, right? This is the energy of the Pisces new moon. It's like, marry your logic with your intuition. It is saying, let's look at the interconnectedness of all things. It's saying, how can we bring spirituality into our everyday mundane life, right? And that's exactly what the spread is asking you to do. I do want to read a little bit from the guidebook just because I think it's so funny that we got all 3 of these cards. And I also feel like sometimes when we're reading from the guidebook, it allows us to kind of see a little bit more. So the light seer version of the Four of Pentacles is stability, saving, success, generosity, accepting your worth, being in flow with the universe, feelings of gratitude, helping others in times of needs. However, the shadow seer side is hoarding, coveting, lack mentality, placing too much value on money, and a need to be more charitable, right? And if we're talking about integrating logic with intuition, we're asking ourselves to not do the shadow seer side, right? To not place too much value on money. It's not about coveting. We're asking ourselves to do the opposite, right? The guidance for this card, or the affirmation for this card, says, I live an abundant life and I have more than I need, right? So I love that this is the card that we pulled for this question. It says, negative feelings about abundance will breed energy blockages big enough to hold back even the most magical trajectories. And so the other part of this says, you're building your life coin by coin and you've reached a moment of stability. Getting here signifies an interval when you can rest, reevaluate, and take stock. Likely you've been reminding to double check those foundations and to save some money for a rainy day. How do you feel about finances? Continue towards your goal without over-focusing on your possessions, and let go of any jealousy derived from another person's position in life. Negative feelings around abundance will breed energy blockages big enough to hold back even the most of magical trajectories. The tighter you hold on to things, the more you block yourself from stopping the flow of wealth and happiness. If a scarcity mindset is haunting your actions, ask yourself if you're looking down on others based on how much money they have or don't have. Actively save and give to the world and focus on feeling excited and expansive. Oh, I love this. So I love the way that correlates with the question of how to better integrate your logic and your intuition in your decision making. I feel like what it's saying is that you can stay grounded while also believing in your dreams, but also that you can give without overgiving, and you can save without oversaving. So I really love that message for this question. So then we move on to the guidance you're receiving from your soul about your current path. And I love that we got the Queen of Swords here too, because again, this is like a really confident energy. This is someone who's a thought leader. This is unbiased decision making. And I think earlier I said something about discernment. This is definitely about discernment. She's wise, she's logical, right? She's got integrity, she's honest, and she's perceptive, and she's intelligent, right? And she's direct, and she's a truth seeker, right? She speaks with wisdom and clarity. So the guidance that you're receiving from your soul about your current path is to be discerning, to lean into your logic, lean into your wise counsel, right? Maybe asking your soul, like, what is it that I need in this moment? And asking for direct messages, or, really specific examples of, a sign, because she is someone who is super honest. And so being honest with yourself as well, with what you truly want. I think sometimes if we're really honest with ourselves, we actually don't want to do certain things that we think we need to do, because maybe that's something that, we decided that we wanted to do. Maybe it's something that we've been conditioned to believe that we need to do. But if you really listen to your soul, if you're really honest with yourself, sometimes that path that maybe others chose for you, or maybe you've been conditioned to believe are for you, aren't actually for you. Being discerning with your thoughts, and set aside some time so that you can be clear-headed, so that you're not self-sabotaging. Being honest with yourself when you are self-sabotaging. Being honest with yourself when you're reaching those upper limits and you're, doing that thing that you do to kind of put yourself back down to that level that you're used to being at, because it's really comfortable. And so the new beginnings that await you as you lean into the guidance of this energy. We got the Knight of Cups. I love that we got this for this card. So every time I see this card, I always think of like my bullshit meter goes up, because this is someone who wears their heart on their sleeve, right? This is someone who is really in love with the idea of being in love, right? But this is also super creative energy. This is a passionate soul. This is artistic soul. This is really leaning into your heart and wearing your heart on your sleeve. This is seeking connection and, again, being in love with the idea of being in love. And this is all about chivalry, right? So the new beginnings that await for you if you lean into the guidance of this energy will be that you're in love with the idea of love, right? Will be that maybe you fall back in love with yourself, if not anybody else. Maybe you do fall in love with other people, but maybe it's truly about falling back in love with yourself. Maybe it's truly about falling back in love with those divine, inspiring moments. Maybe it's about falling back in love with synchronicity. Maybe it's about falling back in love with following the breadcrumbs that the universe leaves for you, right? This is being in touch with your emotions. This is all about graceful movement. And also leaning into your intuition. So maybe falling back in love with your intuition. Maybe falling back in love with the truth of who you are. And maybe it's not about someone coming in on a white horse and saving you. Maybe it's about you coming in on a white horse and saving yourself. So often we wait for things to save us. Like, once I get this job, I'll be happy. Once I move to this place, I'll be happy. Once I have this thing, I will be happy. Once, I get this into this place in my career, I'll be happy. Once I, get married, have kids, all the things. But the truth is that there is always so much more. Like, the story never ends. Like, there's always more to the story. And just even when we die, there's still so much more. So many more things happen. And, we experience so much, even after our deaths, like our memory still lives on. And people still talk about us, and we still have, people that love us, and people still find other facets of our lives, even when we actually do physically stop living. And so you can think that the story ends, but there's always going to be a new beginning. So that is a reading for the new moon clarity and vision spread. So I think I want to do the divine heart connection spread. And I think I'm going to stay with the Light Seers tarot deck. I brought the Fortuna deck out, but for some reason the Light Seers is calling me for this reading. So questions, this is a 4-card spread. The questions are: what aspect of my divine self needs attention? So what aspect of your divine self needs attention? Let's see. What aspect of your divine self? They just keep asking me to shuffle. Okay, here. All right. Let's see. Ooh, you got the 3 of Cups. I love this. I love this card because we have these beautiful 3 women, and they are in friendship. They're all holding on 3. So 3 is like the creation, right? So 1 is the self, right? 2 is duality, and 3 is the birthing of something, right? I love that you got this card. The aspect of your divine self that needs attention is your friendship, either with yourself or friendship with others. Sometimes we can be so inundated with our own things that are happening inside of our lives that we forget to share our lives with others, or we forget to share ourselves with others. But also sometimes we forget to be a friend to ourselves. We can be so cruel to ourselves. We can be so hard on ourselves. And sometimes there's plenty of space for that. Like, if we are training, if we are, in the process of learning something new, if we are studying for something or whatever, sometimes we do need to have that discipline, right? But sometimes we can take it a little too far and be hard on ourselves, and we don't treat ourselves the way we would treat someone that we love, a friend, or someone that we care about, right? So I feel like what this card is asking you to do is to be in relationship with yourself, right? It's asking you to treat yourself as you would a friend, to treat yourself and talk to yourself as you would a friend. The cups are all about emotions, right? It's also about your intuition and your creativity. How can you treat yourself in a way that, you would be proud of, showcasing to other people as well. So sometimes we do things as if no one's watching, and that's great. But sometimes maybe it's helpful to do things as if someone were watching us. I feel like that's what this card is asking you to do, but we'll get into it a little bit deeper. So how can you best access and express your joyful energy for positive change? That is card 2. And let's see what comes up here. So we got, the Hanged Man. I love this because it's 12. 1 plus 2 is 3. So I feel like, because this is also, like, I love this deck. It's such a beautiful deck. The things that I'm picking up on. So first of all, like the colors of these cards. So the divine self the aspect of the divine self that needs attention. You got this beautiful purple lavender color card, and I love this because this is like, if we're looking at the colors that, the West associated with the chakras, right? If we're looking at those colors, then we're thinking about the purple, right? We're thinking about the third eye. We're thinking about the crown chakra, right? If we're looking at this card that I just pulled, the Hanged Man, for how can you best access and express your joyful energy for positive change, we got green and yellow. And the yellow is right at this person's crown chakra. It's this person's hanging upside down, and they're holding on to their leg. So they're in suspension, but it's kind of like a self-imposed suspension. So sometimes this card can be looked at like martyrdom, or like kind of sacrificing yourself for the needs of others. But in the positive, this card can be looked at as like, I am taking a pause. And I may be in this pause, whether it's because I put myself here or whether someone else put me here. But I know I can unpause. And at this moment, right now, I'm taking a pause. And I'm going to be intentional with this pause. And I'm going to take a look around, and I'm going to see what perspective I can shift, right? And I'm not going to move until I'm ready to move. Right? And this is a way to access and express your joyful energy for positive change. Taking a moment, stepping back, kind of holding on and waiting till it is the best time for you to move. Using your heart energy, the green of this color, using your solar plexus chakra for the action, right? And so holding on until it is the right time to move forward. Sometimes we think that we miss a chance because we didn't take that, maybe take a chance or take, action on something where we feel like, like we could have taken action on something. But I feel like we do ourselves a disservice when we take that energy and try to internalize it, right? So what practices will help you invite divinity into your life? Lovely. 10 of Pentacles. Beautiful. So we have a happy family here. The dog's smiling. Everybody's smiling. Everybody has pentacles. It looks very joyful. This is the culmination of all of your hard work, right? This is grounding, right? This is surrounding yourself. This is sharing your wealth, sharing your knowledge. Those are the practices that are going to help you invite divinity into your life. Sharing what you have, allowing yourself the grounding energy, and maybe sharing that grounding energy too. And it doesn't necessarily have to be sharing, but like that's the word that's coming to mind. Share. But also it's like, okay, well, can you pat yourself on the back for all the things that you've done to get you to this place? Because it took a lot of hard work for you to get to where you are. Can you give yourself some kudos? Can you tell yourself, thank you so much? I think we don't do that enough. If you've ever taken a restorative yoga class with me, almost always, and maybe even breathwork class, almost always at the end of a breathwork or restorative yoga class, I have people to put their hands on their heart and say, thank you. I love you. I love you. I love you. How can you do that for yourself? How can you, when's the last time you did that for yourself aside from a breathwork or restorative yoga class, right? When's the last time you gave yourself that invitation to really check in with yourself and say, what is it that I need in this moment to ground myself? What is it that I need in this moment? How can I share my knowledge? How can I share my wealth? And how can I pat myself on the back for the things that I've done? Right? So then we move on to, where in your life can you see the reflection of oneness? I really love this question. Where in your life can you see the reflection of oneness? And we got, the King of Pentacles. That's a perfect card to see the reflection of oneness. The King of Pentacles is the final card in the tarot deck, right? Talk about taking the whole journey. And I love that we call this the journey, right? Because the King of Pentacles is all about the journey. He has taken the journey, the whole journey through the tarot, right? He started off with the Fool, right? He leaped without knowing what was there for him. He went ahead and trusted that the universe was going to catch him as soon as he made that first step. It took that first step, right? He took the journey through death, through transformation, through rebirth, right? He took the journey through the tower. He went through the judgment, right? And he was able to see all these beautiful things along his path, right? It's a culmination of all that has been, like, your whole story. And I feel like that's a perfect card for this. Where in your life can you see the reflection of oneness? Can you see how everything is interconnected throughout your life? Can you see how one experience in your life has led the way to another experience in your life? Can you see how everything is connected? Can you look back at your story? There's so many books that are available to him in his library, because he's in his library. He's sitting down in front of a fire. He's got his loyal dog. This is all about loyalty, being loyal to yourself as well. You know, he's got a whole pentacle in his hand, and he's sitting there and he's like, I did this. I did this. Also, can you look back at your life and see how everything has been connected, how the story of your life has been unfolding and will continue to unfold, and how one action that you've taken in your life, or any action that you've taken in your life, has so much meaning behind it. Sometimes we think that, it's just this one thing that I did, but how do you know that this one thing that you didn't pave the way for someone else's journey, didn't pave the opening for someone else? Maybe you participated in something and someone saw that and they're like, you know what? I think I want to be like that person. Like, I want to be like her. I want to be like him. How do you know that the words that you share make an impact on someone? Positive impact, because this is the divine heart connection spread. How can we look at our lives and say, okay, everything is connected? We never know what small deed or what small thing that we do, how it can mean so much to someone else. So I do want to read I want to read all of them, but I think I really want to read King of Pentacles, and I want to read the Three of Cups, because I feel like these are two of the most important questions that are being asked here. Like, what aspect of your divine self needs connection? And yes, of course, I needed to read this because I just opened the book to the Three of Cups. Okay, so this is friendships, abundance, cooperation, community, closeness with siblings, joy, communication, celebration, and soul contracts, right? This is also in the shadows to your side, a need to see the value you bring to a relationship, disputes or miscommunication, feeling left out, sometimes a love triangle, and a need to make amends. So maybe this is a need to make amends with self. I don't know why I keep coming back to self. Maybe because this divine heart connection spread, so connecting to the divinity of your heart, right? Or the divinity that's everlasting and lives within you, right? The packs you run with and the kindred connections you forge are not always defined by blood, yet they are your living and breathing support system. Deep friendships are the family that we choose, and these sacred connections are to be cherished and nurtured. In the best and in the worst of times, your companions serve as mirrors, allowing you to see who you really are through their eyes. Who do you need to reach out to for support? Calling your besties and enjoy the warm laughter that comes from a powerful soul group. Your mutually loving and beneficial bond carries vibrational attractions that are often ancient, and any setbacks arising from miscommunication or disharmony with others would be old wounds or patterns that are resurfacing to be healed. So I like that. Old wounds and old patterns that are resurfacing to be healed, and then using a mirror. So maybe this isn't just about friendships. Maybe this is also about things that maybe annoy you or frustrate you or really get under your skin, how can we look at those as patterns if we're having an outrageous response to something? Not just everything, but sometimes we have this outrageous or unequal response to something that happened. And so if we are, maybe that's something we need to look at, that disharmony within ourselves, right? And what needs to be healed there. If an important connection has gone away, it may be time to make amends. If you need to commit more energy to cultivating friendships, trust your heart to lead you. And the affirmation for this says, I connect into this sacred siblinghood and this expansive experiencing of witnessing through time. I love that. So witnessing through time, can you look at the divinity within you to witness through time the interconnectedness of everything, the interconnectedness of oneness, right? And then we are going to read from the King of Pentacles, because that one was calling me from the very beginning. Like I said, I want to read all of these, but I think that these two will be most impactful. So I love this because the affirmation for this says, I dream my endless potential into existence with steady desire and effort. So it does take desire and effort to be mindful and to see the reflection of oneness. I remember I took an MBSR course back in 2018, and it really changed the way I viewed myself, the way I viewed life. I started doing a lot of gratitude. I started really being intentional and just living intentionally after that course. And it was such an amazing gift. It was free, by the way, and I think I might link in the notes underneath, but this course was just such a great thing to do because it just taught me how to really be mindful. It was so impactful because, again, it just changed the idea that I had of, what it meant to be steady, what it meant to actually put effort into things. And it does take a lot of effort to be mindful because we're so conditioned to be on autopilot. And when we are on autopilot, we cannot see the reflection of oneness. So this is the light seer's overflowing material abundance, patience and determination, a confident and warm leader, providing for others comfort and security, personal growth, goals, reach, prosperity, and success. The shadow seers over-obsessing over riches, seeking status, greed, a need to balance the material and the spiritual. And I like that because I think material is spiritual. I think everything is spiritual. And I think that sometimes we're in the spiritual community, it's like material is not spiritual. But I feel like everything is spiritual because everything is spirit. And so this says, exuding warmth, the King of Pentacles welcomes you into his study for a heartfelt conversation about life. He's worked the fields, met his soulmate, found wealth, and now he looks over his dream manifested as he offers you one of the tarot's most potent messages of forthcoming abundance and prosperity. The most important thing to be done is to enjoy it all, sweet seer. Enjoy every lesson, challenge, failure, and success. He reminds you to get clear on where you want to be, so plan and envision. There is manifesting power in the longing and so much joyful expansion as you bring your greatest potential into existence. Happiness happens when you do better than the last time, and in the pursuit of personal growth, allow yourself the extravagance of desire. The rest is consequence of faith, steady habits, and the courage to cultivate enormous dreams. Dream your biggest light into life. I love that. And then again, the affirmation, I dream my endless potential into existence with steady desire and effort. Steady desire and effort. So it does take effort to, again, be in connection with your divinity. It does take desire and effort to be in connection with your heart. And so I love this spread. I love this spread. So stop saying I love this spread because I do. And this feels so good to do this again. I did miss this. So New Moon in Pisces journaling prompts. As always, there are journaling prompts for you. So the questions this time, how is this Pisces new moon illuminating my internal landscape and what emotions are being intensified? What does it mean for me to listen to my inner wisdom at this time? How can I better connect with the spiritual, dreamy, and enchanting aspects of myself? I really like that question. I don't know how to answer that question, but I like that question. Let me know how you answered that question. What areas of my life am I being asked to look at with a compassionate heart? That's a good one too. What areas of my soul are calling out for healing, and how can I begin that process? What specific dreams and realizations do I want to manifest during this Pisces new moon? How can I develop a clearer thinking and better integrate logic into my intuition? I really like that question too. How can I cultivate a deeper connection with the divine force within and experience a sense of oneness? I love that. So there are breathwork notes space available. And then there's links. Go to the pick a card or find your birth natal chart if you don't already have that. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey. Thank you so much for everything that you do, for showing up for yourself, for making the effort to divinely connect with yourself. And as always, breathwork audios are available in the vault. There's also a Pisces new moon breathwork audio that's separate and different from the original new moon breathwork. So I hope you enjoy that. And as always, take what resonates in your heart and soul and leave the rest behind. That's it for now. See you next time. Bye.